to avoid any noise in the background. Well, if you have any questions, please put them directly in the chat and we will answer them during the interactive discussion that will come later on. So the agenda today, so we will start with the presentation of the forging project. Then we will have the presentation of each speaker, so 3 of them, that will share good practices and lesson learned in the application of bio-inspired materials. Then we will move to the interactive discussion, and we will end with the wrap-up and conclusion session. So here, just to show you the 3 speakers, but I'm not going to spend much time on it because my colleague Eva will introduce them later on before their presentation. So now let's go into forging. So what is forging? Forging is a project funded by the European Commission, so Horizon Europe project that started in 2022, and we are halfway of the project. And before we are still a few months before the end of the project, and the aim in forging is to set up a forum that brings together different stakeholders, different experts with different backgrounds, so academia, industry, policymakers, society, in order to ensure that, first of all, they are included in the discussions because they are also users of these technologies, and also to, as I put on the slide, to accelerate the uptake of emerging technologies that are not only looking at the technological part, but also the human and environmental parts. So this project is implemented by 6 European expert organizations. So we have INL in Portugal, which is the coordinator. Then we have GAC, so us in France. 2 Italian expert organizations, so APRE and STAM, VTT in Finland, and then we have I2CAT in Spain. So we all know that emerging technologies are now part of our everyday life, and that technological advancements have a huge potential to overcome, to tackle some critical issues that industry or society face, and they are also accelerating the green and digital transition. And in forging, the slide is not moving. Okay, so in forging, we are looking into 6 technological frameworks. So the first one, as you can see on the screen, it's the human machine interaction. Then we have the bio-inspired technologies, which is the topic of today's webinar. We have digital twins. We also have cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. These 2 topics, we already have a webinar last year in November and December. And if you're interested, we have the recordings available on our website if you want to have a look. And the last topic is energy efficiency. So moving to the next slide. So what is our approach in forging? So a few words. We are supporting the uptake of emerging technologies, as I said earlier, for academia and industry. And we try to build the bridge between these 2 worlds, so connect these 2 worlds, so research and the business worlds, because we all know that we have sort of gap between these 2 worlds, and also because both of them are key drivers of innovation. So as I said earlier, we are looking into 6 technological pathways, as I said just earlier, but we go a step further. We try to transfer ideas, concepts, to help industry to find their way through issues they face related to the deployment of use cases, so concrete application. And our methodology is based on the value-sensitive innovation journey, so which refers to the approach of not only looking at the technological point of view, but also the human and environmental parts. This was my last slide, but just last point, what makes forging relevant today is that it aligns, with the principle of Industry 5.0. And this, so the principle of the Industry 5.0 not only prioritize the role of human and machine, but it's really the collaboration between the human and the machine. So this said, this was my last point about forging. So now I'll give the floor to Eva, who will introduce each speaker. So Eva, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Charlotte. And I'm very pleased to welcome now our expert speakers from 3 different startups from Europe to the floor. And we're starting with Cyberbone. So Marcin, if you can please set up your slides. And I'll shortly introduce this first speaker. So Marcin Wątrubiński is the CEO and founder of Cyberbone. And Cyberbone is a startup which is based in Poland, offering customized 3D printed implants for bone regeneration, using self-developed materials and technologies to produce implants which are based on bioresorbable biomaterials. And Marcin will, together with his associate Michael, give us an introduction to the company and its activities. Thank you very much, Marcin, and the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Marcin Wątrubiński. I am founder and CEO startup when provided the project customized 3D printed implants for bone regeneration.
And my name is Michael, and I'm responsible for quality in the project and as well of the transformation from startup at the end for the business phase. Okay. Just wanted to ensure you can see right now our screen, correct?
Yes, we can see it very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so what technology we are using? We use just self-developed materials and techniques that are based on bioresorbable materials. And we, for production, using a 3D printing, which is quite unique. So our implants are customized for individual needs, and through the hardware and software as well, we are modeling and creating the right product design directly or especially for real needs of the further user. So that's the whole story or the process, how it's built up. So we are starting with granulate, which is a well-known material in bio environment, and we made from that just a filament, and using a very unique 3D printer, we can print the implant itself. Of course, the shape of the implant have to be created precisely according to the needs. And for that purpose, we are using just a full image screen and analysis. And we just create a 3D model that allows you to create precisely the shape which is needed or it's missing in a human body. And we on the right side, you can see our clean room where it's everything around, which basically inside we print and we perform most of the activities. The environment have to be extremely clean, even if afterwards we also sterilize this fully. And below you can see a material prepared for the printers. We use the matrix. We use PLD LLA, and we. Sorry.
Yeah.
And as a filler, we are, sorry, Marcin, help me with the name,
hydroxyapatite and TCP.
Which the materials are approved by FDA and they are well known. So the materials, first it's biocompatible, and afterwards it's resorbable, and it's generate or make the body to generate the cells of the bones at the end. So basically we are we are inducting, I think that's the right word. We are just forcing the body to build up based on this architecture on the roads and the bonds itself, the natural bonds. Okay, so shortly, effects, we have ISO, tested on bacterial biofilms, it's sterilized and so on and so forth. So basically it's extremely close to, and it's extremely complex solution, but at the end, the result, it's quite simple. We have just a real object within the body. Okay, right now on the screen you can see the modeling. So basically from scan to create the model of the jaw into the full modeling of the shape itself. So basically that's the way how we are trying to re-image the missing part, and afterwards it's creating the final model that you can see. Okay, so right now what you can see, it's the beginning of the process of the printouts. So what you can see, it's just a real part of the implant that it's creating, and that's just a high quality product that you can just directly implement on the human body.
To jest nasza innowacja, 3 poziomy personalizacji. A możesz powiedzieć coś więcej?
Okay, we have 3 levels of Cyberbond implants personalization. So that's precisely the way how we approach that. And at the end, the most important is that it's corresponding structure to the plant regeneration. So the last phase, it's really unique because the object itself is part of the healing process. Okay, so maybe let's go or jump into the real cases or the examples. What you can see, it's surgery for the pediatrics, and you see the missing part of the skull and of the child, and how it's reflecting the missing. So as you can see, just the printout, it's exactly fitting to the real needs of removed part of the body, of the bones, and afterwards it's attached directly to the remaining part. And what's extremely important is that it's how to say that. It's changing the shapes itself, so it's something really unique if you compare, especially to the material like metal or something other. It's just changing the size. If you see this small holes in between of the implants, that's the part that allows to work partially. And that's something which is extremely important in case of childs. And that's exactly what I just described a couple of seconds ago. You see right now, it's just a real case. So that's very important that it's not theoretical. It's just a case where you see that the middle part, it's already it's not stretch, it's opposite of the stretch, it's just making it tighter. And if it's something needed, then the body itself is just growing in some directions, then the implant allows to grow according to the need. It's extremely important also because that gives us assurance that the shape of bone or the head of the person will be as good as it's just possible, because do not forget that it's the shape of the school, it's changing dramatically during the grow up. Okay, and after 7 months of application, you see that it's adapt really well, and it's starting creating their own bond structure, which is necessary.
That is
Yes. Okay, and just another views after 7 months after application. You see these small dots in a shape. That's exactly the places where we have starting growing the bones or adding
visible regeneration, bone regeneration. Yes.
It's exactly. It's just a visible regeneration of the spaces where our implant was implemented.
2 months after application.
12 months.
12 months. On the right, the border with implants and bone of the patients is not visible. Yes.
It's as you can see, it's merged. This part it's already merged, and that's exactly the most and fundamental element. That's its beginning of the just growing the natural bones of the human body. So okay, and now you can see the reconstruction in of the person that participated in a car accident. As you can see, it's a quite complex process. We are starting with verification of the shape, the build up, the road below that allows you to build up the bridge in between two broken parts, and afterwards add the implant that is the fundamental element, and that's significant improve the life of the person that participated in that accident. And that's different approaches. We are preparing, of course, different ways to cooperate, and that's something with the body. It's not that always it's on the one path. Sometimes we have to create another approaches, just to reflect the needs from the doctor.
This is surgery. Yes. On the left, the printed implant. On the right is implant in immediately after application.
Okay, and what you can see, it's just a process of regeneration. And that one was really nice, because at the end we implement the implants, but just standard implants that it's needed. Dental implants that allows to rebuild the teeth structure. And that's something really very important. You see that's a full process of regeneration, starting from that scratch that it's splitted fully, and at the end, after 12 months of surgery, you can see that objects, bones, and tissue are already connected.
That is effect.
And at the end, the person is fully recovered. You can see just implants. You can see just a standard. And it's almost not visible when you compare to the situation. Okay.
Might be 1 more minute, please.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, another case with another objects, another elements of the school. So not school bones. That's the leg, which also allows to help in terms of shape of the legs, and when it's some shorter leg and so on. That's also supporting that. And okay, we almost touched the point. So as you can see, it's something that allows to replace or support almost every part of human body. And also in future, we presume that animals as well.
Thank you very much, Martin and Michael. Very fascinating what can be done here. Thanks for your presentation. And we're now moving to the next one from NACCO. Raivis, I'll let you put up your slides, please. And I would like to introduce our next expert speaker, who is Raivis Nikitins, who is the co-founder and CCO of NACCO. And NACCO is a startup which is based in Latvia, and it specializes in nano coatings and new materials for hydrogen system producers. The company has developed processes that allow for the use of less critical materials and uses an innovative coating technology for fuel cells and electrolyzers. Raivis Nikitins is also a venture entrepreneur, having developed science-based technology startup companies already for some 10 years now. Raivis, we look forward to your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Can you please confirm that you can see the screen?
Yes, we can do.
Yes.
Do you see slides changing?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So what is NACCO? We are the team of material scientists and vacuum coating specialists based out of Riga, Latvia. NACCO has been an R&D center since 2009, developing new materials, coatings, initially with a focus on automotive industry, but then and successfully developing solutions for the automotive industry that we eventually also sold to a large German parts manufacturer, and that was implemented in the industry. That's when we proved our technology, which was back then for this particular solution more than 2 times better than the closest competitor in the industry. And then since 2020, we are full focused only on the hydrogen industry, the green energy sector, basically. And here we have that vision of the fossil-free economy somewhere in the future, where we replace the fossil molecule basically with the hydrogen one. But of course, a combination of these green technologies will be needed. And here the hydrogen, basically we use green energy like wind and solar. We run it through the hydrogen production system called electrolyzer, where we produce hydrogen by splitting water, and which we can further then use for the industry, households, and transport, making that energy picture, green energy picture, complete. But obviously there are challenges in this industry. There are many of those challenges because fossil molecule is something that we have dealt with hundreds of years. We have built infrastructure. We have built technologies around it, the ones that we are using efficiently today. But that took us very, very long time. Hydrogen we knew already quite a long time ago, but nevertheless the industry started to develop only now, and where at the political level, at different levels, it got his acknowledgement and support, and only now we are actually at that effective start. So it's going to take some time because hydrogen molecule is completely different to fossil, and it needs adaptations to technologies and to infrastructure that we have. So, but our focus is on hydrogen technologies, in particular hydrogen production technology, and which is electrolyzer, and then hydrogen consumption technology. Basically, what electrolyzer does, it uses electricity and produces hydrogen. That is an energy carrier that we can use all around. And the second technology is fuel cell. What the fuel cell does, it uses hydrogen and produces electricity. So the other way around. But that fuel cell technology can be put in cars, can be in all the transportation objects, as well as stationary. And the two main problems that we address here in these two technologies is corrosion of components that are used at the very heart of the system, and high cost of catalytic materials. Corrosion of components happens because of that harsh conditions that hydrogen creates. Hydrogen is the smallest molecule, so it squeezes through everything, and then creates challenges, material embrittlement, etc. Therefore, this protection is needed to be put in place, which we provide with our coatings. And the high cost of catalytic materials, that is very big problem, because iridium and platinum, those are the platinum group metals that are used here in order to support this chemical reaction, because both these technologies, basically at the heart of it, there is a chemical reaction which is responsible for the effect of hydrogen production or electricity production out of hydrogen. And here we move to that bottleneck of the industry, because once it grows bigger and scales up, we eventually will end up in with the challenge of these critical materials. For instance, in comparison, one particular material I can emphasize is iridium. There are only 8 tons of iridium mined every year worldwide. Only 8 to 10 approximately. Whereas for 1 gigawatt of electrolysis, you would need half a ton, so you can build only 16 gigawatts power equivalent. But looking at European projections alone, we aim to build by 2030 60 gigawatts, 40 on our own, and then 20 somewhere closer, in close proximity to Europe. So it is not enough. It is bottleneck already if you look at the Europe scale. I'm not even talking about the worldwide scale. Okay, out of fairness, I have to mention that not all electrolyzer technologies use iridium, but the one that is using it accounts for 30+% of the total market. So it is a very huge bottleneck. And also other materials will, as the industry grows, other materials also will become critical. And this is what we do in our R&D center. So our main focus is on creating these new materials in a form of nano coatings. We have also built very powerful nano coating process that allows us to support our clients in 2 ways, basically. So first, we develop these new unique materials. We test and validate them in our hydrogen dedicated lab and with our clients. And once the validation process has concluded and we have a solution, then we scale that solution through our mass production line, coating line, which is currently located in Riga, Latvia. So our coatings already tested proved to be have increased protection against corrosion to our customers' components, as well as significantly lower cost due to small amounts of materials that we use, and also, basically 10 and more times less critical materials we can use using our technology. And 2 types of coatings we focus on at the moment. Those will be protective coatings. That's first. And then our technology allows us to create very effective protective coating even at the nanometer scale. Very, very thin, even almost transparent coating still is capable of protecting the component. And second is that nanostructured coatings that our technology allows to create with a high surface area, but still at the nanometer scale. And that second coating type is more for catalysis. It is to increase that chemical reaction which is taking place within these systems. So the better the chemical reaction, the more efficient it is, then the more productive the system can be. And one example of how of our success, we recently, with one of the large material companies, Heraus from Germany, we tested our technology, and we were able to reduce the loading of platinum 40 times on one of the key components and still have better efficiency than commercially available coated component. So it just shows you the scale at which we can not only reduce the need for these critical materials, but also the cost for our customer. And if we compare our technology with the technologies available and used at the moment in the industry, then we combine both. We combine very high quality of ALD and PVD technologies. That is atomic layer deposition and physical vapor deposition, which are very precise and provide very high quality. Nevertheless, they are very slow and expensive. But we were able to enhance our technology to also increase the productivity, which matches the cost efficiency productivity of technologies like electroplating. They are very widely used, but they use excessive amounts of materials and cannot provide the quality that hydrogen industry would require. And our technology is green. So green technology for the green industry. We employ physical process instead of chemical reaction. We don't use any hazardous chemicals. We don't have any hazardous waste at the end of the process. And also the need for the energy is reduced. We have our own patents that protect technology, the process, and new materials. And the core team, we are 17 people at the moment, so material scientists, coding experts, and engineer designers. So we design our system, our equipment ourselves, and also materials is our main competence. So currently we work with fuel cell electrolyzer manufacturers. So the aim is to support our clients in reducing the cost of these systems, so they can become affordable to a wider audience, even the private individuals in the future, and also to have that scalability. So we could put these hydrogen technologies in our homes in the future. So we have to be able to touch them in our daily basis, like we're touching all the other technologies right now. Currently, there is quite a lot of work that we do with bringing that message across through partnerships with the Green Tech Cluster, Clean Tech Cluster, and the Hydrogen Association, as well as Hydrogen Europe organizations, in order to not to draw awareness that it is not something that is a technology which is just explodes, can explode in any second, but it is actually a technology which is safe to use, that can be implemented in the daily applications that we are all using. We are not there yet. It is still expensive, not that efficient, but the material sciences and encodings is something that can really help to bring this to a wider application area. Some of the companies that we work with at the moment, they are leading the space, like Siemens Energy, ThyssenKrupp, Hyundai, Toyota. Those are the companies that we are test and validate our coding and solutions with in order to match their business and technology goals. And currently, we have one mass production line operational in Riga, so we can produce over actually 500,000 components, coded components per year. And this particular system we have calculated could do a saving already on of 13 tons of CO2 per year. Maybe not much. Nevertheless, it is very compact, small system, 3 times 8 meters. And we're aiming at building more of such systems. And the next step would be a very large manufacturing ground that we want to build in the western part of Europe to support the scaling needs of our clients. And that will increase the coded component capacity that we're able to offer, as well as savings, CO2 savings, due to materials that we save and the process itself. So currently we work, we receive uncoded components, which we code them and then send them back to our clients to be assembled into these electrolyzer fuel cell stacks. And in terms of geography, we are currently focusing mostly on Europe. Nevertheless, we have also established clients in North America and Asia. So we will be eventually building new production sites closer to our clients to be able to also have a supply chain effector, so cost-efficient supply of our services. And some projects worth to mention is also here, for instance, where we focus on developing these novel nano-coated catalysts on membranes. One of the key hydrogen system components. Currently, there are several step processes used to place these catalysts to coat onto the membrane, which is mainly responsible for this chemical reaction to happen. And the catalysts are the ones that I mentioned, iridium, platinum, so they are very expensive. Current technology approach uses several steps, and it uses much more of this material to place it on. Nevertheless, with this project, we want to replace this to one single step, where at least 10 times lower amounts of these materials are put on the membrane. So more effective process and less material used. And we have partners like Toyota, Ballard, and some others that are supporting this project. It started in 2023, and it will run for a little bit over a year more, where we want to, at the end, have the technology that can be then scaled and offered to the industry. And the second project is also where...
Ravis, excuse me, just one more minute, please, yeah?
Yes, I'm close to finish. So another project is Pilot Soil, where we also collaborate with the technical universities and the clients like Elcogen, for instance, to develop next generation electrolysis technology. And in this particular project, we help our clients to migrate to a cheaper component materials. Because of high effectivity of our coatings, we can protect, they can use a cheaper and more available material for the components. That's all from my side. Thank you, and I'll be happy to hear your questions and answer them.
Great, thank you very much, Ravis. Very interesting. Very different also from the other application we heard before. So super great to have these different ways on how to use smart materials. So I would like to introduce now our third speaker. Whilst you're setting up your slides, please, Krista. Who is Chrysoula Chandrino. Chrysoula is a senior researcher at Fosprint, a company based in Greece and a spin-off of the Institute of Communications and Computer Science from the National Technical University of Athens. The company develops laser bioprinting systems and is specialized in regenerative medicine applications. It focuses on the development of bioprinted products for tissue regeneration. Krista, we're happy to have you with us, and the floor is yours, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Eva. I'm happy to join you today so I can share the journey and innovation of Fosprint. Can you hear me? Can you see the slides?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Yes. At Fosprint, we hope to revolutionize tissue regeneration through in vivo laser bioprinting and redefine possibilities. Today, I'll walk you through our approach, the challenges we address, and the transformative potential of our solution. Our success is built on the expertise and dedication of a diverse team. Leading Fosprint is our CEO and CTO, Ioanna Zeriotti, our CFO, Maria Palidou, and Apostolos Klinakis is our clinical director. We are also supported by advisors and a multidisciplinary team of biologists, chemists, engineers, and regulatory experts, each bringing their skills to the table. And together we aim to have impactful solutions in the field of bioprinting and tissue regeneration. So Fosprint is a relatively new company. It was established in 2019. It's a high-tech spin-off of ICCS and National Technical University of Athens, based in Athens, Greece. So far, we have secured intellectual property protection with 5 patent families. In addition, we hold copyrights for our software, trade secrets related to our know-how, and proprietary preclinical data. Our progress is demonstrated through a fully functional pre-industrial laser bioprinter, currently at TRL6. These include a benchtop bioprinter and an in vivo laser bioprinter capable of printing cells directly during surgery. For our first clinical application, it focuses on neobladder construction for bladder cancer patients, which is an approach to address a significant medical need. Fosprint has received an EAC Accelerator grant, which provided 2.8 million to support our transition into clinical testing, and we are also eligible for the European Investment Bank Equity SIM. So we have the trust and support from some key institutions. We are also currently working in 4 other European projects, Tumor RNA, which is an organ-on-chip platform, Libra, which is bioprinting cells for chemical sensors, Europrint, which is printing hydrogels to make a new that's for new liver, I'm confused. To make a new bladder, and also NeoLiver, which we are trying to make a new liver. We have successfully completed our preclinical studies and are now preparing for our first in-human trials. Additionally, we have implemented the QMS system in compliance with ISO 13485 standards to ensure our processes meet the benchmarks. So our technology consists of a proprietary in vivo DLib dual laser bioprinter and novel advanced protocols to accomplish cell isolation, cell expansion in vitro, and real-time in vivo printing in clinical settings. Our bioprinting platform has a 14 by 14 printing area capable of producing 10,000 droplets per second or nearly 1 million cells per second. This supports both preclinical and clinical applications. The clinical bioprinter is uniquely designed for surgical environments, materials compatible with surgical cleaning protocols, and hybrid parts for seamless integration with human tissue. Additionally, software ensures seamless operation through a touchscreen interface, and these features make our printers adaptable for clinical settings while maintaining the highest standards that is needed for a medical device. So the clinical need we're currently addressing is bladder cancer. So the global annual bladder cancer cases are more than 500,000 per year, and for this, 40% of it happens in the EU and US. The standard procedure is cystectomy, which involves removing the bladder and creating alternative for urine storage, often using intestinal tissue. However, these methods lead to complications like infections, metabolic imbalances, poor quality of life. For health payers, the lifetime cost for a patient is around $110,000, which further highlights the economic burden. Also, patients facing this face either a stomach with lifelong incontinence or a neobladder made from intestine, which can cause severe side effects. So there is a clear urgent need for a better solution. So we believe we can address these challenges by focusing on replacing the intentional epithelium with a patient's own urothelium, eliminating the associated side effects and reducing treatment costs. A commercial system that will be developed after the AIC project will enable the printing of orthotopic neobladder directly in the surgery room in just 1.6 minutes. With a speed of 1 million cells per second, this technology enhances efficiency and precision in surgical applications. So let me walk you through our streamlined procedure. At the first step, a biopsy is taken from the patient's urethral or healthy bladder tissue. Then, urothelial cells are expanded in a GMP-compliant environment. The bladder's existing epithelium is deepithelialized, denuded, and then the defective bladder is removed through cystectomy. Finally, the urothelial cells are printed directly onto the bladder. This in vivo transplantation preserves vascularization, which is a huge bottleneck currently with bioprinting, achieving over 95% cell viability compared to 80% for inject and 40 to 80% with for extrusion methods. And the results are quite significant, with patients' bladder functionality regained within weeks. So we have proven our concept in large animal models with an 8-week follow-up. The results are quite telling: improved bladder functionality, preserved vascularization, and significant reduction in post-operative complications. These findings confirm that Fosprin's approach works, paving the way for clinical adoption and broader applications in tissue engineering. So a few words for our business model. Fosprin's business model revolves around selling printer systems and protocols for urothelial isolation and in vivo printing. So each printer will be priced around 100,000 euros and with a recurring fee of 6,500 per surgical operation. By 2034, we hope to have installed 100 systems and 120 surgeries annually that will anticipate sales reaching 77 million. So let's talk about the regulatory front, which has been quite challenging. And Fosprin's quality management system is aligned with both FDA and EMA standards. We are implementing ISO 14971 for risk management and ensuring ANCOA Plus compliance for robust data integrity. Our corrective and preventive action processes proactively solve quality issues, and we continuously train to adhere to regulatory requirements. Importantly, we are transitioning from preclinical to clinical phases with a clear roadmap supported by our integration of electronic quality management system to streamline the processes. In closing, Fosprin aims towards shaping the future of regenerative medicine. Our innovative approach hopes to address critical medical challenges and reduce clinical costs and improve the life of patients. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, Chris. Very interesting activity again here. So thanks a lot to our 3 expert speakers for your highly interesting presentations. And we're moving now to the moderated interactive discussion session. So the floor is open to questions from the audience, of course, and we will start from some that we already have in the chat. But feel free also to add to those and ask further questions either in the chat, or you can also speak up, opening your microphone. So we're going to start with our first presenters from Cyberbone. And we had a question about the time that it took you for the development. And I think it's the question was not only about how much time does it take between the moment that you have a patient and you produce the implant, but also how much time did it take you to have your first models, to have everything ready so this could be deployed. How did you proceed there? Did you have any partnerships? Did you have any funding, etc.? So maybe if you could elaborate a bit on that. Thank you.
I'm correct, if I understand.
Sorry, we can't hear you very well. Can you speak up a little bit more loud?
Sure. Just if I might understand you correctly, you are asking about our just first model that we implement, or right now how much time it takes from the first call from the doctor about the need?
No, I think it is about the development that took it for the first time.
Okay, so let me just...
To come up with the solutions that you're offering now. Yeah.
Nie, pierwszy w ogóle generalnie jak został cały proces do wytworzenia, kiedy powstał pomysł. It was the first steps was prepared 13 years ago.
Okay, 13 years ago. So and when did you start your commercial activity?
February last year.
All right, so it took some time. Okay, and maybe would you like to explain us if there has been any bottleneck or anything that has specifically helped you to develop during that time?
Takiego najbardziej opór materii, nie? Zrozumienie, że to może zadziałać. I think that the biggest challenge was to give us a chance. I mean, everybody afraid about the solution, and it sounds so unrealistic what such implant can do, that really a lot of time took to convince to make a first trial. And even right now, it's the same issue that people used to the standard approaches in terms of implants, and that's really difficult to convince people to try in terms of such sensitive structure to build up. So the biggest bottleneck right now is at the end in a human mind.
Okay, it's about the acceptance. I was wondering about that. I see we have a hand raised. Tommaso, would you like to speak up?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So thank you so much for the presentation. Very interesting. I have a curiosity about the properties of the materials that you guys are developing. How does it compare in terms of mechanical properties such as rigidity and fracture toughness with the natural bone?
Jeżeli porównują, to jest wiele słabsze, nie?
Nie, to się przebudowuje w kości.
Ja wiem, ale na początek
To
samo.
jest mocniejsze, troszeczkę mocniejsze, ale zbliżone.
Okay, the parameters of the structure, we trying to reach a similarity with a natural bone. So the density and the toughness, it's that we can compare with a natural bone. Nevertheless, of course, this is something which is rebuilt to the natural.
Zbliżone.
Okay. To the natural, and then of course the patient have to be careful in terms of living. Just you know, when it's implemented in a jaw, just for instance, it takes long.
Do 2 lat. 14 miesięcy.
Okay, I would say that the timeline that you have to pay a special attention for the implant, it's around 24 months. And after that, due to the rebuilding of restructuring process, it's nearly the same or the same as a fully natural created bone by body.
And if I can just ask another quick one, I was wondering, so your material is basically like this PLDLLA or similar to that plus hydroxyapatite, and I was wondering if the volume fraction of hydroxyapatite that you managed to add to this polymer is comparable to the amount of hydroxyapatite that you would have in the neighboring bone tissue that you are bonding your prosthetics to.
Hydroxyapatyd zmienić 10% i chcemy wyeliminować całkowicie po prostu na podstawie naszych badań histopatologicznych i współpracy z biologami kości. Czyli powtórz jeszcze raz. Biolodzy kości i histopatolodzy, którzy z nami współpracują, sugerują, żeby zmniejszyć jeszcze do minimum. Wykorzystamy średnio 10%, 5-10%.
Right now, the average quantity is around 5 up to 10%, but we are trying to reach the full clearness, and we would like to reduce this to 0.
Tak, korzyści po prostu z hydroxyapatytu nie są.
So hydropatid, it's not so valuable objects when we think about our implants.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for this first exchange. I would like also to move to the other questions we had in the chat. And there was one for you, Raivis, about the main obstacles to develop hydrogen in our societies. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
So
Yes,
could you repeat?
thank you for the question. It is those are technological that I showed in the presentation. So those are the the obstacles where we have production efficiency challenges, we have material availability challenges that we have to address, and also storage and transportation. Hydrogen has low volumetric yield, and so you need to compress that. You need to use 700 bars, for instance, to compress it. Even if you want to have it in liquefied stage, then it is you have to go below 200 temperatures, 200 Celsius temperatures minus, and then it of course brings a huge challenge on how to transport it in long distances, and whether it even is feasible to do a long distance transportation, or you have to place that hydrogen production technology somewhere near the offtake and where the hydrogen will be used. As well as economical challenges. Currently, the main cost position also is the cost of the electricity, because to produce green hydrogen, you would use green and renewable energy, so solar and wind. And that again, if you look at the map, in certain geographical equations, the energy costs less. In certain, it costs quite a bit, and in Europe especially. So therefore, this hydrogen cost is very much associated with the electrical energy cost that we have. So we also trying to address those challenges, and plus the renewables, we don't have enough in order to reach those goals that the Europe and world has set. We need to build a lot more wind and solar farms, and then see what other other sources of electrical energy we can use. So produce, for instance, from the hydropower as well, something that can be done. And then in certain states, there also nuclear power is sort of announced as the green energy, which then helps to reach those goals in green hydrogen production, for instance. And then policy and market obstacles, for instance. We don't have standards yet in place how to standardize the use of the hydrogen, and as well as production of the hydrogen, implementation of the projects. So currently, we are developing solutions and technologies for the industry, or for the standards that do not yet exist, which is very challenging. We know that some of us may be out of the market in the future. For instance, if there are certain restrictions put on certain materials, we will have to adapt to that. Currently, there are some of the materials already that ideally would be restricted, but there are no alternatives, so these materials are used. So it is quite a bit of a list of challenges the hydrogen industry has that we have to address.
Okay, thank you very much. So you were saying, you were speaking about the scalability. I was wondering, for when then the use of hydrogen in our households, what do you project?
Well, they say that we will reach certain maturity of the industry by 2030, but then it will take all our efforts in order to build the infrastructure, to build the technologies that can be safely, I emphasize the word safely, used. And all this, the safety aspect is also very critical, because hydrogen is highly flammable. It has to be, so this has to be taken into account, but this is fine. I mean, you cannot really smoke at the gas station while filling up your car as well, right? It can blow up. So we have already built technologies. We are using the materials and solutions that have been safe technologies have been implemented in order to use those, and we can do the same with the hydrogen. It's going to take some time. So by 2030, we will be in the R&D stage. There are already some applications of the hydrogen that are directed to the households, but those are in a pilot cases at the moment. So by 2030, I think we will have more or less complete products that will be offered and more so tested and validated for such applications.
Okay, and then we will need the infrastructure to implement.
Infrastructure will be gradually built already by this 2030, and now it is already quite a large investment is put into place in order to build it, and we all are participating. Apart from our main business, which is coatings and coating solution supply and materials, We also are heavily involved in working with the Hydrogen Association and other players in the hydrogen space, like the potential off-takers of the hydrogen energy companies, to create opportunities for these technology offtake, because we can only learn when we start to execute. We cannot, it cannot be a paper projections or paper development. We need to learn on real cases. That's the only way how we can get that learning curve up, and by realizing in actual cases. So therefore, currently we have one project that we have already successfully drew through the acceptance, and now we will realize this first Latvian electrolyzer project early this year. By August, we will have that implemented. That's the goal. So with this project, we find an opportunity for our clients, as well as informing local municipalities, governmental departments of the need to support such a project, where we all will get our learnings based on execution of this project. So which will help to reduce also the regulatory burden to execute the following and next projects, which is also very important, because at the moment the government does not know how to regulate it, what sort of policies, what terms and conditions to put in place before to accept those projects. So this all will help to do so.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Ravis. I'll come back on the regulatory aspects in a minute, but I just saw that Tommaso has raised his hand. Tommaso, would you like to ask a question or make a comment?
Yeah, I have a small, I think, curiosity as well. So you showed these maps with materials availability, and there was this striking scenario that within 10 years, a lot of materials availability risk will increase. Everything seems to shift to the right. So I was wondering if in 20 years or 30 years, all of this availability risk is going to gradually increase and shift towards the right even more. I was wondering if there's going to be, what is your vision? Do you think that there's going to be new materials that will come in on the left-hand side of this graph to kind of like become the new low risk availability type of materials for this sort of applications?
Yes, you partly answered that question already, and this is what we direct our attention to. We work on substitution of these critical materials. So one thing is that what we can achieve already with our technology, we can reduce the amounts that are necessary for these technologies. But we have to understand that these materials are also used in other industries. So also other industries will scale and grow. Maybe some new solutions will come in place that will need these materials. So there are no other alternatives. We can either launch space missions to asteroids, other planets, and look for these materials there, which probably will be costly and not yet achievable, or we can focus on new material developments, which would have the same or comparable properties to be used in these applications, and that's what we heavily invest our R&D research towards too.
Okay, thank you. I think that answers the question. I would have a question also to you, Chrysula, coming back also on what we are working in forging, which is specifically the human aspect of new technologies. So how is the use of new technologies, development of emerging technologies impacting the society? And I was wondering, how do you ensure that your product and the solution that you're offering is meeting the needs of the society? Could you elaborate on that?
Well, we hope it meets. We have done the preclinical trials, and we're trying to solve. It's a human-centered company, so we're trying to solve the medical needs. We're currently working for the bladder cancer patients, but this printing technique can expand into further development. So, as you have seen, it really reduces the cost and the patient's well-being should this procedure work as it has planned in the clinical studies we have. So, I mean, we don't have a negative or positive effect on the environment. It is most a medical device. It's for medical use, and it's for the patient's well-being as well as reducing medical needs. Like, you know, for if you have a cystectomy, then you need to have all these appliances on you for life. So you reduce all these medical costs and all this materials waste.
Okay, thank you. You had to shortly also introduce your business model during the presentation. So what is so far the feedback from practitioners? As I understand, you're trying to start, going to the market and sell your products to. Yeah,
yes, we have the printers, and that's what the challenges I wanted to talk to you about, because we recently established it. We're a small company. We have received the IEC Accelerator grant, but it's quite hard because of the regulatory. We're working so hard now because we want to be, you know, compliant with both FDA and EMA if we want to sell our printers. Each country has some different regulatory aspects that we have to include. So this is very hard, and this is very hard for VC's investment, because they're reluctant to take, because it takes longer due to the regulatory, you know, for the product to come to the market, and they're reluctant to take patient funding positions. And also the foreign VCs are reluctant because they cannot find local VCs to fund. So we are kind of in a loophole. Now we have a couple of investors, but we are still missing a major one. But this is due to the specific market, let's say, of a laser bioprinting being in the operating theater. So it brings a lot of regulatory framework with it. It has to be, so this is our biggest challenge at the moment.
Yes, I understand. So would you say that the regulatory aspects are for you a burden, or is it something that you think is necessary because of the fact that these are medical?
It is necessary, but if you want to go into that direction like we have, you have to accept it's going to take longer than, you know, you're getting your product out there. But of course it is necessary. It's good for the patient. I mean, you have to have this, but sometimes because of new technologies, even the regulators don't know how to regulate, let's say. So they might be over, making very strict measures that are not necessarily need to be met. But it always happens with new technologies, you know, if they want to emerge into the medical sector.
Yes, I see. So maybe how is that for Cyberbone? Maybe Martin, Michael, would you like to tell us a bit? Do you also meet regulatory aspects which are an aspect that you need to tackle, or is that different for you?
Yes, of course, we have to face with topics around the regulation, starting with just a very basic, which is bioethical permission to perform such activity. So that's the major topic. Second, we have to tackle in terms of medical, as it's at the end, it's a medical device, and we also have to meet requirements around that. So just for instance, the ISO have to be on place, and so on and so forth. So it's also extremely challenging in terms of formalities, not only in terms of product itself, but at the end, I would say that it's not only the idea, but the whole story around the formal process. It's also very wide and many aspects in terms of driving that.
Yes, I see. So do I understand correctly? So Krita, you said it's necessary because it is a medical product, and I understand a little bit from what you say, Michael, that you have the same understanding. But is there something that could be done on the policy level or on regulatory level that would make it easier for you, make it quicker maybe to go through those steps? Anything that comes to your mind?
I would say that rather would help not how to say that? I think that the helping hand, the person that could support the startups, such companies, to collect the requirements, to guide in terms what is really needed, what will be the best path, and that's something that would be, per my perception, the most important. At the end, we have to meet some requirements, and it's obvious for us that when we produce something medical, it have to meet the standards and have to be accepted by all parties. It's not a toy. It's at the end extremely sensitive objects that we have inside the human body. But that's a part of story. Second, it's what have to be done, and I would say how. I mean that I do not expect that a third party will do something on my behalf, but help me populate the data, help me populate the right step. Inform which company or which regulator will be necessary, or sometimes which path will be better. Just a quick example. Right now we discuss in terms of FDA and different paths for us to go into the market. And just for instance, we have advice in a direction that the orphan device will be the best option for us due to the simplicity of the process, but it has pros and cons. And at the end, that's maximum what I expect. That at the end, I can make a decision: shall we go in one way or another way? Because that's at the end our choice. But the consequences that we don't see on a level of thinking about that are not clear due to the complexity of the regulation.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's an interesting takeaway. You need a helping hand. What kind of organization could be such a helping hand? Do you have any ideas?
I would say that it should be rather on a government level or even European Union level, because at the end it's quite standardized. When we discuss about the process itself, it's quite similar in all countries all across around European Union. So the standardization would be warm welcome, because at the end, good practice that we done can be used by everybody that will be work on a similar solution.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yes,
thank you.
We have,
Teresa, please.
If we, I totally agree with, but if we have a common regulatory front for all countries, not, because each one has a specific, it would be very helpful. Also, we had some trouble in the beginning to find the regulatory experts, that we're under a QMS now, that understand our product, so they know what regulations we have to conform to and which ones not to. But we had to speak to a lot of regulatory experts to find the one. I mean, it took us quite a while, because, okay, every new technology, it's understandable, not everybody knows, but it takes quite a while to find the right person to talk to and help you to get all the requirements and get all the load, and all the QMS procedure starting and going.
Teresa, let me, if you don't mind, I would just would like to add one point that exactly fit. When right now we discuss with FDA, it's a dialogue. I mean, they ask us, answering, it's just organizing the video conference just to understand what we really need, and then I achieve like 5 or 7 even information. Yes. Guys, we can go in that path. We can go in that path. That fit into that device, this regulation that will be the most effective and the simplest and the cheapest for you. By the way, I'm deeply interested because this will help us under the terms. And that's we are not putting the papers and then waiting 3-4 months for the answer that no, we don't understand, or actually it's what's this? At the end we achieve, okay, that's for children device, let's do it on that way, I will contact the right person in FDA to grab more information. And it's a completely different way when I cooperate right now with United States. I feel that they really care what we are doing, and they are trying to push us into the area. Okay, you have to focus on the development, think about the product, think how to make it better. And right now here we mostly think around something different. How to meet the requirements and how to meet the regulation points. It's a completely different story. I feel that I'm for the in FDA. I feel that they are for me, to support me. The overall feeling, not the direct point, just how I treat it. And here, at least that we face with some regulation, it's slightly different. It's okay, you are for us. And it's something that, per my perception, it can really destroy the whole willingness to fight. Because at the end, I completely agree that it's not simple sometimes to grab the idea of what was developed, regardless it's our company or your company, it doesn't matter. At the end, the question from my perspective is the most important: who is for whom? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michael and Chris, also for these interesting exchanges. Raivis, how is that on your level? I understood that NACO has gathered the ISO certification, but you were mentioning before that there are no standards. So is the situation for you inverse? On the medical level, there are so many regulations that not everyone knows which ones to tackle and how to tackle and which ones to consider. I understand for you there are no standards, so you need to anticipate what could come up afterwards, or how is it working?
Thank you for the question. With regards to the ISO standard, it is just the overall standard that that guarantees that the procedures are in place in order to ensure quality of the process, quality of the end product that we are making here, and this is something that we have achieved for our new production site here. In terms of other regulatory aspects, yes, we are not in such high constraints that the colleagues just mentioned. We are not there, and we are more, as I mentioned, the whole industry is now in that big R&D stage, where the only sort of standards that are put by DOE, Department of Energy from the US, that focus on what amounts of materials ideally we want to come to using in these technologies, what has to be the efficiency rates, the cost of the technology, etc. And those milestones are currently communicated and put in the documents. Nevertheless, how well we will achieve those, it depends on how good we will collaborate with each other, meaning all stakeholders of this industry. Currently, there are so many unanswered questions in this regard, and only through collaboration we can answer these questions. So there's a lot of technical R&D work that needs to be put in place. At the same time, also involving the regulatory bodies, informing them of the challenges and the situation we're in right now, because we need them to understand this as well in order to make these regulatory frameworks correct and valid for the current state we are in. Otherwise, we're not able to realize any of the hydrogen projects at all if you just put a lot of hurdle constraints, not understanding the subject, not understanding the matter, just looking at it as something that is very, very dangerous to do, and then putting a lot of constraints and not having these projects realized, and no learning curve is there. So the whole industry now focuses on getting that knowledge known to everyone, and especially to the ones that have develop these regulations. So Europe, I think, has advanced quite good. We have established already the frameworks. We have okay, it varies country to country, but I think the good, as more these hydrogen production projects have been approved and realized, the more these studies and data is available to everyone. And then it is very good. We have been very good in sharing this data so far. So I think we are in a good pace. Just have to continue. And as I said, by 2030, we may reach that market maturity and also better understanding of how these technologies can be implemented in the wider applications.
Yes, thank you very much for having shared these learnings and this data that we're placing here. And I think we need to wrap up now. I'd just like to thank all our speakers for having shared and used this forum to exchange on your expertise and on your experiences. And I'm passing the floor to Charlotte for a quick wrap up, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yes, we
Is
can.
it? It's not in full screen. Now it should be better.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, so thank you all for this very interesting presentation. I noted some few points that I wanted to also share with you. So the first point related to bio-inspired materials, bio-inspired and smart materials is it has application across various industries. So we mostly heard about health today, but there was the energy and automotive from you from NACO, but it can be applied also to other industries. I noted the point of regulation that the regulatory framework not only fosters innovation, but it also helps for the trust and ethical issues, but it can be also hard and complex according to the sectors. And what would be very interesting and helpful, it was the fact to have a contact point, let's say, with regard to the regulation and which type of regulation should be applied to the solution that is developed. And the last point also that I noted, because we have also a few times, but there were a lot of interesting things, is that, bio-inspired technologies are addressing societal health and energy needs. And that we also have the point of circularity and sustainability long-term of the use of the resources, which is also very important and very actual of our it's really a current situation. So just to finish, I have two slides. So in Forging, we have upcoming activities. So the first one is just mostly for information because it's next week. We have a workshop on energy efficiency that is organized by one of our partners, APRE, to develop potential use cases related to the technological framework of energy efficiency. And then we will have also upcoming webinars. So the Forging webinar series, Shaping a More Responsible Future with Tech. So we will have the one on digital twins that was initially planned for the 6th February, and the date might change. It might be in March. Then we have the energy efficiency topic, the 4th of March, and the one on human-machine interaction at the end of March. So the registration will soon open. So for the moment, it's not yet open, but it will soon open. And my last slide, I cannot share here. So as I said at the beginning, we in Forging aim to set up this forum with a variety of experts. So of course, if you want to, you can be part also of this forum, and you just have to click on the link here. We will share the presentation also, and I think, and this is my last slide. And again, thank you all for participating to the webinar and to the speakers that shared their experience also related to bio-inspired materials. So thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, everyone.
Have
Have a great
wonderful
day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.